Now everybody scream enough respect to the X. Enough respect given.
What's up, YouTube? It's NG, the Neon X, and I'm back. Tonight, I just want to touch base with the Surface Duo. I know I haven't spoken about the Duo since December of last year. I mean, that was only, what, 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I know technically it's not that long ago, but I know I usually talk about the Duo much more. But as it happened, during this little break from the Duo, I've been doing many things with, say, the S20 FE, the iPhone Mini, and a lot of different headphones and things. So things just, things that I was into. I was able to get my hands on them, play with them and such. And so the Duo just didn't get as much attention as I normally give that device. As I've said before, the Duo can be a primary device. But at the same time, for me, it could just as easily be a secondary device. And during this little, few weeks break, it became a device that simply wasn't used as much during that time. But recently, in the past week or so, I did go back to the Duo, and I just want to share my thoughts on the experience of going from these single screen devices that I was using so constantly during that little hiatus to going back to this dual screen beast that many people still seem to sleep on. Now, coming back to the Duo from the iPhone and the F20 was a little jarring, to say the least. We all know that the Duo does have its shortcomings, especially when you put it up against what some could consider to be, at least it was, Samsung's best and Apple's best. The S20 FE is no slouch of a device. It has the 120 refresh rate. It has the expandable storage. Has a very good camera. It has the newest Snapdragon chipset. All these little things in it to make it a very compelling device. Some would even say the best Android device of 2020. I personally say the best single screen Android device of 2020. And then that's even compared to my beloved LG V60. And then when you combine the F20 with Apple's offering the iPhone 12, this is the mini version, the only version that I had any interest in. It's a pretty interesting combination to leave these two and go back to this one. But what I found when I went back to the Duo was certain things I used to take for granted. The Duo really is an all-in-one device. I had these two phones on me, and of course when I went back to the Duo, it was just so much easier to handle the day-to-day with only having the singular device, because for all its flaws, it does handle the multitasking of two devices very well. I found it so much easier to flip out the phone and search through my email here while also having other info on the other screen that coincided with the email, getting sent, oh, check this out, check that out, and I'd be on the website looking at it while the email was there still. Just certain things that when I had these two, I would have it open on one phone and go search for it on the other phone, and not having it side by side was a little much. I was doing stuff multitasking like that. Not that I can't, but being able to just hold one device and have your pen on hand to write down your notes, jot down your ideas, it was something that I kind of forgot the Duo did so well. And it made me realize how much I so enjoy using the Duo as a primary device. Or once I step back into the main use of this, it just proved itself all over again. In the car, I had a little stand for the F20 here. As you see, the people have it in their cars. They have their phone on a little phone stand, and they have their maps open or whatever. The Duo had the maps open and had my Spotify open. And the thing is, the F20 could do that, but the screens are so small. Now, the F20 can do the Spotify and maps on one screen. I know it's totally usable. I have this on my little phone holster, and I have my little maps there and my little control up there for the songs. It wasn't as pristine as going into my Duo here and just pressing tap and having both things just pop up on these two magnificent screens and just have it the way I want it. I mean, what would you rather use? Something like this made for it, or something like this where you can hardly see what's going on? I mean, it was things like that just made me go, wow, what was I doing all of this time? You know, you tend to forget the little things that the Duo has on these other phones until you go back to these other phones and you see what they have to offer. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain perks to having these single screen phones, especially by Samsung and Apple. I mean, they really know how to make a really good phone. And half of me wishes that all of the R&D that went in something like this quality could be put in this. Because all of us Duo owners know, even today, the Duo is full of bugs. Not so with the S20 FE or the iPhone. Very good devices. But I guess this is a pretty good segue here to say some of the issues I didn't miss when I wasn't using the Duo. First and foremost, for reasons unknown to me, there are times when the Duo just doesn't want to properly align the little pull-up bar. I mean, right here, I don't understand. There's times where I'll pull this up. See, it's working just fine now, but it'll come up in the middle of the device. Now, it doesn't happen every day, mind you, but it happens often enough that it's bothersome. That you half expect it, and when it does, you just roll your eyes like, why? Why isn't this issue fixed yet? And it wasn't an issue I had when I first got the device. Apparently, one of the newer updates has done something to cause the pull-up window to just not align right with the screens. Another issue that I've had with the Duo, and again, I don't understand why, is these guys right here. When you let's say you open up an app. Now, when you open up an app and all of your stuff moves to the one side here, there are times where I'll have nothing here and it won't move back. The device will swear that something is open here, but there's nothing there. I can still move these around just fine, but the little windows at the bottom refuse to align along the bottom of the device. Not until I go into, there we go. Not until I go into the task bar here and I clear the entire thing out will I be able once again, go away, will I be able to once again go into the proper positioning of the windows down there. Now these are just little bugs, little hiccups. It doesn't really cause any issue with the use of the device, more so than, you know, a slight annoyance, because they're easily fixed or even ignored in some cases. But when you spend so much on a device like this and you want it to be your main device, it's bothersome when these little things keep on happening. Like, why haven't they been fixed yet? Another thing that still happened when I used the Duo, and I thought this was fixed from before, is the camera. Now, I still have two cameras here. I sometimes use camera PS because, you know, it has the HDR and all of that and other little perks. But the camera still doesn't know which position I'm trying to use when I have the phone flipped. The camera just jumps from one screen to the other when I fold the phone over, and it's very bothersome. Now, suffice to say, when I need to take a picture, if I do have the Duo and another device on me, the other device is always the camera that I go to. I wish that was not the case, but the Duo's camera is just not dependable enough for me to capture that shot. Now, I'm not any fantastic photographer. Photography is not my thing, but I do like a good picture. I am very artsy. Some would say I have an eye for certain things, and I want to capture the picture as it is. And with the Duo camera, though it's possible, you are not guaranteed to get that shot all of the time, because sometimes the cameras simply won't adjust how they need to within the time allotted to you to get the pic. And it's bothersome that till this day, with all the little things that could be done or should have been done to iron out those kinks, the Duo still has that camera issue. Now, another issue the Duo seems to have that should have happened a long time ago is when I go into the phone posture. More often than not, the Duo does not know which screen I'm actually trying to phone posture to. I'll fold it this way to use this screen, and the other screen will pop up. And when I flip the phone around, it'll jump to the other screen. It's not doing that now, thank God. But again, it happens often enough that it is overly bothersome. Now, this is not to say, again, you don't get used to it and you find ways to rectify it quickly. Because once you know, you know. But it's still something I feel should have been addressed since the phone launched in, what was it, September? They've had a good 5 months, almost half a year to get to these smaller issues. I know that they've been doing a lot behind the scenes. I'm one who looks into these things, and I do the research, and I see exactly how these things should work and what they're trying to do to fix it. But it's some of these things really, I feel should have been addressed long ago. Those quality of life issues. So for the average Joe like me who happens to have the phone, the little things won't be there to bother them. Now, once you get into the more complex things, then, you know, I get that. But the everyday use cases of the device should not still be plagued with these bugs. And to me, that is probably the main issue of the Duo. Now, another thing that the Duo has that I think should have been addressed a long time ago is when you go into your messages. Now, when you have your little message bubble open, you can't put your messages on the other screen. The bubble refuses to go on the, I guess this would be what, the left screen, the messenger bubble, and I think all other things that open it up in a little bubble here cannot leave this screen right here. You can't throw your messenger bubble over here. Before, it would open too wide. It would extend across both screens and just be an eyesore to look at. The typing experience would be bothersome. But then they fixed that and allowed it to only open on one screen. But the issue is, it wasn't any screen. It was only that particular screen. And there are times I would rather it be on this screen. Now, I would hope that would have been addressed too, and it simply is not addressed as of yet. So, the Duo still has a ways to go in 2021. I understand I understand Microsoft finally launched the update recently. I haven't received the update yet. I am on the AT&T Duo, so I expect it within the next day or two. Because if it's like the Duo, or if it's like the previous update, us owners of Lock Duo didn't have to wait for very long for it to be approved. So I hope that that update does iron out some of these kinks. I've read the log, and I don't recall seeing any of those kinks on there, but maybe it just wasn't on the log to begin with, because they don't always tell you everything they work on. They just say bug fixes. And I'm hoping some of those bug fixes were that. But I've also heard, along with the update, there have been some issues to be had as well. Now, again, I don't have, so I can't say for sure if I would be affected by them. If it's everyone, if it's a small percentage of owners. I mean, there are not that many of us out there, but there still the bugs still seem to persist with the Duo. And I'm on the Reddits and the other blogs, and I see people, oh, I sold my Duo for this much or that much. One recently said, oh, it was a fun run, but I'm going back to Samsung. There's too many issues to deal with on the Duo. And I understand where they're coming from. But on the flip side, I've seen people who just recently got the Duo, or people who have continued to use the Duo and have found new use cases and better use cases for it. So I guess it really depends on how the Duo works for you. If what you do is better with the Duo, well, then you just stay with the Duo. I mean, again, me, I'm not any kind of professional like that. I've seen or heard of doctors and lawyers and all kinds of people with the Duo, and some of them make really good use of these two screens. Me, the Duo is just a very, very good phone that I enjoy using very much. So I personally would not be trying to exchange it or sell it or anything like that. I enjoy what the Duo offers way too much, and that's just on a personal level. That's not even on a business level. I can't even begin to fully comprehend how much this Duo could probably benefit someone who uses it as a work tool. I could only guess what those dual screens and the power behind it could offer. But someone like me, in my everyday life, with my day-to-day use, the Duo, as I've said, going from those two phones to this one phone, the Duo is still the more enjoyable device to use, because it does cover every single base that I need. If I need to write something down, and I love to write, the Duo is the best device for it. If I want to read, I've gone back into my reading, my Kindles and my Nooks and all my little PDFs. I use the Duo for it. It's just a much easier device to use when you go into that book posture. It's just more comfortable to read when your Duo can actually become the book you are trying to read. Being able to hold it as a book just like that and take that info in, it just does something up here. It triggers something to make you just go into that zone, that knowledge zone where you just want to absorb as much knowledge as possible, and it's just comfortable and just nicer to hold it. It's something like this. So I know this is probably an odd rant, but these are just things I wanted to say for a while since I started to use the Duo again. That's not to say that I won't be using the F20 and the iPhone. A lot of my family tend to call me on this as opposed to my other devices. You know, they all have iPhones and all of that, and they want to send the videos and the pictures and blah 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 blah. And iPhones are just better for that as long as there's another iPhone. Android and their RCS isn't as widespread yet. I hope it does get there, so that the one thing the iPhone has on these Android devices is no longer as dominant, at least here in the US. I hear everywhere else they use WhatsApp and well, I know there's another one out there. I don't remember the name of it, but at least here in the US, the iPhone is just the communication champ because of iMessage, and that's pretty much the main thing my iPhone is used for. It's sad but true. But everything else, the Duo still handles the day-to-day in the more favorable way in comparison to the other devices. I almost forgot that. I did. I won't lie. I almost forgot how enjoyable it was to use this until I went back to it. And I said, man, I miss having those dual screens there at all times. And not dual screens because I have dual phones, but dual screens because I have dual screens. It's just so much more useful than people give it credit for. Yes, those phones can dual app and half screen. It doesn't compare. What this can do, it just does not compare. Well, like I said, this was just a quick rant about the Duo in 2021. I have been working on some videos. I do have some ideas for some others. So it's time to get back to more Duo talk. There's always so much going on. There's always something to say about it. So I hope you guys can continue to join me as I explore this amazing device. And I will always share my findings with you. So until then, my name is Angie, the Neon X, and the Service Duo. This is what I'm into.